How's it going, everybody? The last feat video was really well received and I had always planned to do more in the future, but the resonance was quite positive, so here we go already. And yes, I've heard you want a best feats video, but those are quite obvious in most cases, and that's why we're going to have a look at some underrated ones first. Some of them might come as a surprise, as I've seen quite a few posts in the last comment section that mentioned one of them. And just to make it clear, this list is in no way a complete one, nor do I claim that you can't make an argument for different ones or disagree with my opinion. It's weird that I have to say this, but it's going to be even worse than the best feats video. Enough introduction. First feat is Warden and Tiandi's Come At Me. I've mentioned this before that most characters usually have at least one solid tier 1 feat to pick from, but do not underestimate this one. It increases your renown gain by 50%, but you yourself take 20% more damage. The fact that it is a tier 1 is what makes it so powerful. Your goal is to unlock your other feats as fast as possible and have a larger impact on the game with them. If you unlock your tier 4 early, you can probably get multiple uses out of it, and as you might have realized by now, Come At Me works perfectly in the minion lane. If left to your own devices, you will reap in a ton of renown. Proper coordination is needed for the feat though. You can't just have two other people sit mid with you while you have it active. You get fuck all benefit then. You want to use it in a controlled environment, which also means no popping it in the middle of a teamfight. Another situation you can use it is the Guardian in Breach. Killing that one with Come At Me active is a huge number of extra renown for you. Next one, and probably the one people argue about the most, Righteous Deflection. Available on Lawbringer, Hitokiri and Gladiator. It's useless on Glad, I'll give you that, but the other two characters can use it just fine in my opinion. What it does is that after a parry you get 50% damage reduction with a 10-second cooldown on the feat itself. Especially in gang situations, this can be very useful in terms of stalling. You live longer, so you're contesting whatever point longer, giving your teammates a chance to either do something else or come to help. The other thing, and why I think Lawbringer and Hitokiri can use this feat properly, is their hyper armor. What? Lawbringer has hyper armor? Oh why yes he does. What I mean by this, that if you're being ganked and you parry someone, following up on that parry is very risky. When you throw an attack, that is the perfect opportunity for the people ganking to get their damage in. You can't block, parry or dodge while attacking. So now you have two characters that can reliably get their damage in because of the hyper armor on the heavies or zone respectively. You won't get interrupted and the damage you eat will get halved, meaning you did some damage and are still filling your revenge meter. And with how ganking in normal matchmaking looks like, getting that revenge also means a good chance of actually killing multiple opponents in an outnumbered fight. So yeah, it's not a great feat, but by no means is it a bad choice considering the other options you're looking at. The next feat you see in pretty much every competitive match, but not quite as often in normal matchmaking. Smoke Bomb. It's available on every samurai hero except for Hitokiri. It's an area denial tool that does multiple things. It blinds, prevents lock-ons, and interactions with the environment. That includes capturing zones, picking up flags, reviving people, etc. What might confuse a lot of people is that it functions differently depending on whether it's your smoke or the enemy's. You yourself can maintain your lock-on, which means you can block and parry normally, but your opponent cannot. All there left is externally blocking and dodging. This once again is a stalling tool because attacking for the opponent is quite difficult while within the smoke area. You can sneak revives as well as heal, because you can make zones uncontested with the smoke. This is especially powerful in Breach. The healing zone is affected by this feat and can make it pretty much impossible to contest for the 10 seconds this feat is active. With it being tier 2 and only on a 60-second cooldown, this means that you can continuously disrupt whatever the opposing team is doing, prevent them from healing, picking up the banner, placing the banner, and so on. We don't see it near enough in my opinion, and with some coordination and practice, it can be really annoying to deal with. It's a solid choice on every samurai hero, even if you replace Rocksteady with it. Don't underestimate what you can do with a bit of smoke. And the last one for this list, Cheat Trap. I don't see it used at all, and if, then not correctly. To make proper decisions, you need information. And why not start with knowing where the enemy is at all time during a match? There is basically only one viable position to place the trap, and that is within the spawn of the opposing team. Once placed, the trap lasts forever and has an infinite number of charges. So even if you die 15 times per match, as long as you place the trap correctly, you're golden. And the opponents cannot avoid it as they spawn in it. This should, in theory, help out your team in making the correct moves to win the game. There shouldn't be any surprises or accidental outnumbered fights anymore. Obviously, this requires teammates to even realize what's happening, which is not a given in this game. I'm sure half of my teammates didn't even realize what was happening while I was recording these clips, let alone know why people were marked on their map. But like I said, this feat, out of all the ones mentioned today, is by far the most underrated of them all. It is tremendously powerful in the right hands, and depending on the map and its placement, can be an absolute nightmare for your opponents. I honestly don't know whether it's working as intended or if it's supposed to disappear after a while or after death, but as it is right now, one little trip to the enemy spawn is all it takes. With that said, I will continue my videos about feats. I hope this one was helpful. Thanks for watching. Later everybody.